Hi all. Today we're going to be covering layer transformations within GIMP. We're going to start this off by hitting File New. We're going to create a brand new image that's 1024 by 1024. We're going to hit OK. And we're going to leave this as a charcoal black. It's a little bit easier on the eyes. And to get started here, we're going to add a couple of guides. If you're not familiar with how to set up guides, I have a previous VOD that I will be linking down in the description. We're going to come over to Image, Guides. We're going to set one up by percentage. So we're going to do a horizontal at 50%, which is going to go from left to right. And we're also going to set up one for the verticality. So we're going to change this to direction to be vertical, 50%, which is going to place us right in the middle. And then secondly, we are going to let's start off by creating a brand new layer. So we're going to come over to the layers pane, hit the new layers button, and create a brand new layer. We're going to call this image box because all we're going to be simply doing is selecting the rectangle select tool. We're going to make a brand new square by dragging and dropping. It's more of a rectangle, but we're going to change this out to be a square. If you're not familiar with how to set up precision shapes, I have another VOD as well covering setting up precision shapes in the select tools. And I'll also put a link down in the description. We're going to start off by setting the position. Position is not going to matter. We're going to use the grids for snapping. We're going to make the size though 256 by 256. And we're going to click within this, so now we can fill this. We're going to select our paint fill, so hitting Shift B, that'll give us the bucket tool. And we're just going to click inside this. We're also going to use layer crop to content, so we can kind of remove the transparency that was created with the layer. If we drag this around, you can kind of see the white border that represents the entire layer size, but we don't want it to be equivalent to the we just want the square to be our layer, so we're going to do layer crop to content, and now you can see we're just dragging around the box. So we're going to use grid snapping to move this right into the middle, and then we're going to hit Control Shift A to remove the selection that we previously had. And so we're now going to apply some arbitrary transformations to this square. So we're going to come up to the layer options, and we are going to move down to the transformation. You can see that there's a bunch of different transformations we can actually apply, such as flipping across the y-axis, flipping vertically, which is across the x-axis, arbitrary rotation, set rotations, but we can also do arbitrary rotations, and we're going to start off by doing an arbitrary rotation, excuse me. So as soon as we click arbitrary rotation, you can see up in the top right that we have a rotate tool, rotate tab that has appeared. There's a few different parameters. We have angle, we have the center point, we have these little options. These all represent different pivots. So if we look back at our cube, we can see that there's a little circle. This circle represents where the pivot is. So currently we have the center selected. So our rotation, if we arbitrarily set this to 15 degrees, the rotation that occurs through 15 degrees is rotated about from the center pivot. If we change the pivot by selecting one of these buttons, you can see that this little circle has moved to a new coordinate within our little layer pane. So the layer is the yellow outline, and we can change this to be different positions, like this is center right, we can do center bottom, right bottom, or even go back to the center. The angle allows for negative directions, so right now we have 15 degrees. We could do a counterclockwise rotation with negative 15. If we move this pivot off to the bottom left, we can kind of see this a little bit more. If we do negative 15, it's rotating this way. If we do 15, it goes downwards, so this is clockwise. Previously it was counterclockwise. But we're going to start off by simply doing a rotation about the center. So clicking rotate is going to apply this rotation. You can kind of see that our layer dimensions have changed, and you can see that the cube is now rotated on 15 degrees. So we're going to make a couple more modifications to this cube. We're going to come back up to the layer option. And we are actually going to apply a transform along the horizontal, transform along the vertical axis, which is basically flipping what we refer to as flipping horizontally. So it's going to basically flip everything backwards over the y-axis. So before we even start, you can see that the right side corner is on the right side. It's going to end up on the left side, and the bottom left one is going to end up on the bottom right. So if we hit flip horizontally, and everything is basically mirrored and flipped across the y-axis. We're going to undo that, and we can apply the same transformation vertically. So this one is basically flipping along the x-axis. And we can start to combine these in various interesting ways. In fact, we also have another option that's not within the transformation, but we can actually scale our layer. And if we select scale, we actually are presented with a brand new window. It has a couple different parameters. We have layer size, width and height. We also have a link here. The link represents that whenever we change a value within width, it is also changed by the same amount in the height, or is proportional rather to what we have. So if we change width to 256, height is also changed to 256. If we undo this, say we add to 128 to this, the width now has an additional 128. If we relink these together and add 128, or sorry, subtract 128, it is going to do a proportional amount to 170 from the previous height we had. So if we added 64 to this, it's not going to add 64 to 256. It's going to add something that's proportional to the values, so it maintains its proportions. So if we hit scale, it kind of distorts this image. So we can do some fancier things where we start to combine these. So if we get rid of this image box and create a brand new layer, we're still going to call this an image box because we're going to do the exact same thing. We are simply going to make a diamond shape. So we're going to come up to layer, or image rather, and we're going to set up two guides right off the bat. We're going to set up two new percentage guides. We're going to do 25 on the vertical and 25 on the horizontal. We're going to make a separate coordinate system up in this top left corner. So we're going to do guides, new guide, horizontal, 25. So now we have a new kind of coordinate system. This is 512 to 0 to 512. So the entire dimensions of this cube up here is 512. We're going to make a brand new rectangle select. Change the size to be 256 by 256. Select it so we can actually start using this. Hit Shift B to go to our bucket tool and fill in our newly created new box. Likewise, we're going to do the same thing we did prior. We're layer, crop to content, so we can actually just manipulate the cube itself and not the entire image that it's on. And we're going to move this up to the top coordinate system. We're also going to hit Control-Shift-A like prior and remove the selection we previously had. So to get started here, we're simply going to combine different rotations to get a diamond. So to get started, we're going to come back to the layer option. We're going to come to Transform. We are going to go to Arbitrary Rotation, and we're going to make a 45-degree rotation along the center pivot. So if we change the angle to 45, keep this center pivot selected, and do rotate, we now have a diamond cube. Excuse me. And you can see that the just like previously, the border has changed. If we go over to Layer, Scale Layer, we can see that we're now at 364 by 364 by 364. And the reason why is because the when you rotate a square, the points end up being further along. So we're going to resize this back down to 256. And we're going to keep the linkage, so this basically sets it back down to a 256 by 256. So it kind of shrank it a little bit. And we are going to apply a scale, additional scale to this, where we are going to basically extend this along the Y only. So we are going to remove the linkage that happens between width and height, and we're going to extend the height by an additional 128. And what this is going to do is add 64 pixels of height to the top and 64 to the bottom. Because basically when you scale things, you're basically doing half of whatever you're scaling by within pixels in both directions. So we're going to make this 256 by 384. And now we can see that we actually have a nice looking diamond, which is now perfectly aligned in a particular location in the top left coordinate system. And essentially we have combined different transformations in order to achieve a result. And we can take this a step further. You can apply this to rotating text objects based off of a pivot. So we can create a little text object really quickly. Example text. We're going to scale this down to 64 just so it's on the screen. And we are simply going to do the same thing where we do layer, rotate, arbitrary rotation, and we'll just move this 12 degrees. Just so it's a very uniform, or kind of not super, reading it vertically. And we're just going to apply a simple rotation. So now we have our example text that is now been rotated slightly. So we can kind of make use of rotations within our text. And then we can also use it within objects, various images. And essentially we can achieve interesting results based off of simple transformations such as movement, scale, move, scale, and rotations. So hopefully this helps you in your GIMP creations, and good luck. Cheers, dudes.